Niggas get it doing too.
Can we talk about that though a little bit?
Talk about what?
What Cam said, because we haven't really recorded a pod since
About
those
what
comments
Cam
came
said
out
about
being
the
disrespected.
Panthers. I'll let them have it on that damn space.
Yeah, what did you say? Because I didn't hear it. I didn't go back and look, to be honest.
I said that, for one, I said that fans are partially responsible for the shit. Like, cause I would even look at you, to be honest, because I don't think that you respect Cam enough.
Okay.
So I said that the fans are partially responsible, and everybody wants to act like they're up in arms now. But the organization has proven that they listen. They listen. They're ear to the street. They got burners all throughout Twitter. Dave Tepper, he be on Twitter. Nicole be on Twitter. The niggas in the organization be on Twitter. That's why, if y'all haven't noticed, everybody was up in arms about Luke Combs, like, being our damn team ambassador almost. Everybody was saying, you got the baby and you got J. Cole. Both who have said that they're Panthers fans in one way or another. And now all of a sudden you see the baby plastered on all of the Carolina Panthers social media platforms. So they listen. And so, you know, Carolina Panthers fans want to say they feel a certain way and that the organization shouldn't be doing him that way. But like I said, there's fans in this organization that don't like Cam and don't respect Cam and don't acknowledge what he's done for this franchise. And to me, Cam Newton is the one and only Panther that has taken the Carolina Panthers to a fucking national brand. Even if you look at the 03 team and what Smitty and the guys did, and this is why I said on Twitter, I never want my message or my words to be misconstrued, because I love Steve Smith. I mean, die-hard Steve Smith guy. He was the first favorite player that I ever had in the NFL. My first autographed Carolina Panthers jersey came from Steve Smith. So, you know, I have a severe love for fucking Steve Smith. I do. But when niggas start the discussion about the Carolina Panthers and the organization overall and just the individual players that have come through this organization, I don't like the way niggas get to talking about Cam Newton. I don't. And I think it's extremely disrespectful. And I don't know what this new regime, I don't know what Dave Tepper or whoever is in the building that got smoke for him. I don't know what the problem is. But what I do know is that, you know, 14, 15, 16 years old, when I pulled up to Charlotte to watch Cam Newton, whether it was the first ever fan fest, whether it was fucking training camp in Spartanburg, whether it was Charlotte, the city as a whole, when the Carolina Panthers were in the regular season, what I know for a fact is that the vibe of the city was just completely different. And you could literally feel it on your skin. Legitimately. And niggas think that I gas, but I refer y'all back to the Black and Blue Network, the spaces that they hosted, where I had hella niggas in the chat agreeing with me. The vibe was completely different. So I don't know what the problem is with the Carolina Panthers and their relationship with Cam Newton. And until that happens, for me, it's always going to leave a bad taste in my mouth. So that just kind of summarizes what I had to say about it.
Yeah, I don't know where this notion came from that I don't respect Cam. The only time that me and JJ got into it about Cam was when we were in talks about bringing him back as a quarterback, and I was just like, well, it doesn't really make sense to me. I just didn't agree with it at the time. But, I mean, Cam was like, obviously I've been a Carolina Panthers fan my whole life, but Cam was one of the quarterbacks that I was watching when I was really, really, like, understanding football, beginning to, like, understand football. And so I'll always have respect for Cam and what he's done for this organization. Like, me being able to understand, like, what competitive football is and, like, what superstar power looks like in the NFL, and my team having a superstar, being the only Carolina Panther to have an MVP. Like, that's all. I'm always going to have respect for that. But I will say is that I don't think that I fully noticed, like, how they were disrespecting Cam until, like, I started going to the games. Because I haven't been, like, a couple years ago was the first time that I went to a Carolina Panthers football game in person. Like I mean,
4 years ago, 3
Yeah.
years ago, 3 or 4 years ago.
yeah, my family we didn't go to the Panthers football games. Like obviously we always watched them, but it just wasn't something we did. We stayed like 4 hours away from Charlotte, so we didn't go to the games. So I recently just kind of like noticed that Cam Newton doesn't be at the games. Like they don't honor him at the games. Like you don't really see any kind of Cam like memorabilia at the game. So this is like really the first time that I've actually like taken notice of that, and I think it is disrespectful. So I mean, I don't like you said, I don't know what what the front office like what they have against each other, but I think it is disrespectful. But I think I can kind of like see like I kind of know what it's about in my mind, but I just don't want to speak on it on here. But I think I kind of know what I can point to in my
I would
mind.
like to hear it.
I mean, I just think about what the fan base is like, who the fan base is made up of. Like, and when Cam really started to, you know, for some reason they hated the way he did his hair. They hated the way Cam dressed. Like, just simple shit like that. Like, that shit is simple to, like, a regular person, but for some reason, like,
Microaggressions.
this fan base, like, took that shit out of proportion and blowing that shit out of proportion. And they started disliking Cam because of that. For whatever reason, it's just weird as fuck. I don't know why you care about the way someone dresses so much, or like, you know, the way they do their hair and things like that, their fashion statements. Like, so that was always super weird to me. And like, cause I was talking to someone, he's probably like 70 some years old. I was talking to him at work, and he like made a crazy comment about Cam Newton. I forgot exactly what he said, but I was just like, oh, okay. Like, this is why they don't like Cam Newton, and I don't really know why. Like, it's just very weird to me. So, yeah, I do agree that I think he's been disrespected and he's been slighted in his organization. And, I mean,
The
I don't
fans
know.
play a part.
Yeah.
The fans play a part. The
Yeah.
fans play a part. If y'all watch it,
He's
y'all play a part.
a big boisterous nigga with swag, and they didn't like that. And I do think he gets disrespected. I think when Cam was here, being an outsider of the Panthers fan base in particular at that time too, one thing was for sure about the Panthers: you didn't want to see them. You didn't want to see them because Cam Newton had that. He had that it factor. He was the type of quarterback that could go out there and beat you on any given Sunday off his talent alone. He was elite. He had the NFL turn. I was seeing dabs on ESPN. This is when ESPN still did a morning show and came on in the mornings. I was seeing dabs on ESPN every single day, every single morning before school. Everybody was dabbing everywhere. It was culture.
Country.
It was a cultural event. I don't understand how somebody who made tidal waves like that does not get the sort of recognition that they deserve, especially from an organization that's as young as the Panthers are, being the best player that the franchise has ever had.
Yeah,
Point blank, period.
Because it's like, if you keep it strictly football, like, it's like, be real. Be real. Why are we even having this conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to keep it strictly football and nothing else, why are we even having this conversation of why Cam doesn't get any recognition in Carolina? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
It was the same problem when he played, though. It was the same problem when he played at one point in time in Cam Newton's career. He was the most elite. This was before they put in all the quarterback protections that they have in now. They put that shit in because of Cam Newton, because he was the most illegally hit quarterback ever.
Yeah, and he was still
Ever.
getting fucked off even with them rules in. So that's why I said I don't agree with that. Because he was still getting teed off on while that shit was happening.
That is true, because he
So,
wasn't getting
I
the
mean,
same calls that everybody else
Right,
was.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because he's a big nigga like that. So yeah, I don't agree with that per se. But I mean, yeah, this shit is just nasty work, bro. And to be honest, like I would say that everybody in this fucking fan base, like, should be on their fucking hands and knees rolling out a red carpet 1.5 miles long for any time the nigga even enters the fucking city. Really, and it really just pisses me off, like the amount of ungratefulness that I see and hear just damn near every season, every time a conversation comes off. It really triggers me, honestly. And I really get to a point where I want to just crash, but I choose not to, honestly. But it's fucking ridiculous. The whole ideology that it's because he hasn't retired, that shit is dumb. He said it multiple times that he will not. He believes he's not going to play another down of football. So that in itself is enough for retirement. And then if you actually look at the NFL bylaws and what it deems retirement to be, Cam Newton is actually retired on paper. He doesn't need to come out and make a statement. And the fact that he has the approach and the stance and perspective that he does, and he's chosen to share it, and the Carolina Panthers haven't made any sort of comment, remark, anything regarding the situation, that makes me believe his side. So I see a lot of y'all saying that we don't know the truth and this and that, this and that, this and that. Well, listen, if there's only one story being told, I don't give a fuck who's telling it. If there's only one story being told, unfortunately, when somebody has the platform and the ability to make a remark on the story and they don't, then I'm gonna assume that what that other party is saying is 100% facts and true. So whoever got a problem with Cam Newton, whoever got smoked for the nigga, y'all need to make it right. Y'all need to make it right. Because even on Sunday, bro, with the Chiefs in town, nigga, I mean, Kurt Coleman, Jonathan Stewart, Jake Delhomme, Luke, of course, they're always going to be around. Mario Addison, like, I mean, deep as hell. Deep as hell. No Cam Newton in sight. It's nasty work. It's nasty work. So, like I said, what he did for the Carolina Panthers brand is like part of the reason why the Panthers, in my opinion, are kind of in a fucking identity crisis right now. Honestly. But, you know, I don't want to get too long-winded on it. But I think that there are more people to be held accountable than just the organization. And I think if you're watching this, then you must be held accountable as well if you don't show the appreciation or vocalize the appreciation the way you should. So, yeah, until the fans actually say something and actually start doing shit, like taking to social media, it's very, very simple. Because the Luke Combs and the baby shit is like absolutely ridiculous, bro. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Like, they tried to force Luke Combs on us for like 1.5 to 2 years. Niggas was airing the Carolina Panthers out for that shit, and I have not seen a fucking week or a week and a half go by without seeing the baby in some kind of video affiliated with the Carolina Panthers. Literally. So, yeah. Get on social media. Do what y'all do already if you feel that way about it. But I know a lot of y'all should just be talking and just be saying shit, and y'all don't really stand on business. So I understand. I get it.
Which is something Cam did very well.
And that was another perspective that I will say, another perspective that was talked about in that spaces was the fact that Cam Newton has the platform. And he's not one that's going to hold his tongue. He's not one, he's always going to shoot straight from the hip and tell you exactly how it is.
And that's another problem, they couldn't control him.
Right. And that may be the problem that we're seeing right now, is the fact that they can't control him. And I think that this current regime and this current organization and ownership group would like to have control of certain narratives and situations. And if you let Cam Newton in, and you know, you honor him and you let him around and you show him on the big screen and all of that shit, there's no guarantee that he's not going to go on 4th and 1 and tell you that as an owner you're fucking off. There's no guarantee that he's not going to do that, and I think that plays a part in it as well. I do. But I think it's mostly multifaceted. I believe there's a lot of layers to the whole situation. I do. But I think that fans could be, you know, more vocal about the situation as a whole and change shit.